Hi, it's Bujo Crew, and welcome back to my channel. This is my 2023 bullet journal setup. For this year, I decided to use a B5 Archer and Olive notebook. I really love this company. They have quality paper in all of their notebooks. This notebook is kind of big. It's my first time using it, and I had a difficult time trying to fill up the space. You'll see later on in the video what I mean. But for now, let's take a look at the first page. This is the intention I wanted to set for this new year. I got this ticket in the bottom right corner from the World Expo in Dubai. I got this specifically at the UAE Pavilion. The text in white says, "Land of Dreamers Who Do." And that's the intention I want to set for this year. I have a lot of dreams, I have a lot of goals, a little bit of indecision. I can never decide between them. I want everything and anything. And so it's hard to make those dreams a reality. And so for this year, I want to be someone who takes my dreams into a reality state. I want to be someone who takes action and works towards all the goals and the things that I want to pursue. And so I'm really excited for the progress I'm going to make this year for all the dreams and goals that I have. The next page is my grid spacing chart. I am writing out all the different numbers on the horizontal and vertical plane just so that I can have an idea of how big this notebook actually is. When I say it feels really big, I've been using a lot smaller notebooks for the last couple of years. And so, yeah, I'm really excited to see what I can do with this much space. And so in the bottom right hand corner, I'm just titling, and I'm going along with that same design from that ticket where I have just these circular like shapes and lines and curves on this page. I'm right now calculating the halves, the thirds, and the fourths. So I can go back to this page and see how many boxes I need to count out so that I can divide the page into half, thirds, and fourths. I'm adding a little bit of color and some washi tape, that blue and green, to match that ticket from the page before. On the right hand side, I'm writing the year 2023 and just adding a little bit of drop shadow and writing in here, "Keep going." I just want to continue how I'm ending the previous year. I think previous to this year, in the month of December, I've been really getting started on the dreams that I want to make a reality. And so I just want to remind myself that I need to keep going and not let myself be deterred. I'm really glad that I started this bullet journal channel in December rather than January. You know what they say, New Year's resolutions don't happen. And so I'm glad that starting this channel isn't one of those New Year's resolutions. On the page on the left is my index. I've been rereading The Bullet Journal Method by Ryder Carroll, and I've decided this year that I'm committing to an actual index and seeing what benefits actually come from having an index and being able to see what I've been adding to my notebook and making sure I keep track. I feel like I never go back to an index, but this year I want to see if it is possible that I can integrate this into my bullet journal. On the right hand side, you can see that I've already started my future log. I'm using a stamp and an ink pad to write out the different days of the month. Sometimes I do like to write it out by hand, but it's actually really tedious. So for now, this will be the easiest way. I'm keeping in line with that blue and green theme from the ticket, and I'm also adding different curves and circular shapes. On the next page, I'm continuing my future log. The future log really does help me schedule events in the future. So say I'm in January and I have an event in September. I'll write it in my future log. That way when I start my September plan with me, as well as all those different pages that go along with September, I can refer back to my future log and see that I have a specific event for that month. That way I can transfer or migrate that event over into my September pages. You can see that I made a little bit of a mistake here, and so I have to restamp and go over those days of the month with my pen. As you can see, the future log does take a little bit of time, and so aren't you glad that I am using a stamp? I definitely am. So I would really highly suggest doing that if you are going to do your future log. But if you like to write it out by hand, by all means. On the right hand side, I'm continuing with that stamp. You can kind of see that I forgot to wipe off some of that extra ink on the base. I tried to white it out, but I think I'm going to keep it because I kind of like the aesthetic as well as the way that it's dividing between the 2 months that are side by side. On this next spread, you can see I am using my grid spacing page as a reference, and I'm counting out the number of boxes. I want to figure out how I can divide this into thirds. On the left side, I am writing in mental inventory. You'll see in my upcoming video what a mental inventory is and how I'm going to use it to help me figure out what are the important tasks, the important projects and deadlines that I should be working on that I'm not working on, as well as the ones that I want to be working on. On the right hand side is my 2022 reflection questions. This is going to help me look back at the last year and see how I can improve myself. It's also going to give me a time to take a step back and just revel in all the good and the bad. I don't want to regret anything in my life, and so I think this is a great way to just be grateful and just take in everything that was last year. You'll notice throughout the video that the notebook's on a slight slant. I'm going to try and be more conscious of it in the future, but I kind of like the fact that I just went into the zone and just had it slanted, because that's how I typically write. On the next spread, I'm looking forward and I'm writing in my 2023 goals on the left side, and then on the right side are my goal check-ins. And so on the left side, this is where I'm going to write in my focus, my dreams, important words or quotes or affirmations, as well as ambitions here. On the right side, I'm going to put in 4 different dates. That way I can take a pause during the year and see how I'm doing and how am I progressing towards my goals throughout the year. On the next spread, I am writing the word books. And so this year, one of my goals and what I'm trying to commit to is just reading more. I am an avid reader, or was, and I've kind of lost my way a little bit. And so I want to see if I can read at least 20 books this upcoming year, which seems like very little, but I feel like having small, manageable steps will help me reach what I want to achieve. And so as you can see, I have written down the first book that I'm currently reading. I'm rereading the bullet journal method just in preparation for all that I'm doing here on this channel. On the right side, I am writing a wish list. This isn't really for me, it's more for my family. And so I think it's a really good idea for me to just keep track of things. That way I have something to tell them at the end of the next year. And my last spread for my new bullet journal setup is my Bujo Crew Planning and Brainstorm spread. This is where I'm going to write all my ideas and all the things that I want to include in this channel. And I'm just excited to really get this thing started and get it going. And so this is where all of my just crazy, big, small ideas are going to be. And I actually really love this page. And so now that I have all my spreads finished for my bullet journal setup, I'm going back, writing in the page numbers and writing in all the different collections and titles and topics into my index. That way I can start using my index. Oh, I forgot. On my grid spacing chart, usually I put in my bullet key, and I forgot to do it in the beginning, so I'm going back to do that. I have specific bullets. Most of them are the same ones from the bullet journal method book. And like I said in the beginning, this is a huge notebook and I'm excited to try something new and get out of my comfort zone. And so I decided to go through and take a second look to see how I can fill up this space. And I decided that having bolder strokes with a black brush pen would help fill in this space and just help it feel a little bit less empty. I'm also going back with a little bit of color and washi tape wherever needed. I don't often see setups where a bullet journaler goes back and sees what they can add. It always goes back to a flip through, and so I think this is pretty interesting, and I want to keep continuing going back and looking through and seeing if there's something that I can add or subtract. I feel like to get better and better at something, you need revision, and so I really want to improve on how I bullet journal, and so you can expect more revisions like this in the future. And that's my 2023 bullet journal setup. Let's flip through all the different pages. I made these new pages thinking about the last year. I look back at last year with gratitude, and I hope you do so too. I also hope that looking forward, that you can make your dreams a reality and that you can see within yourself someone that can take action, that can move forward and do something with all the things that you want to pursue. Thank you for watching this video, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow at Bujo Crew. Happy New Year!